Good afternoon, everyone. This is John McCrell with the Spin Room. Today we have a special guest with us. It's Fred Panosso, who is a Happy Nest operator. He services the east side, I guess, the east side of Atlanta and the suburbs of the general Atlantic market. And what we're going to do today is Fred's going to talk a little bit about his journey into the laundromat business, and then his migration over to the happiness business and how it's all going. Um, and then at the end of this, I would like Fred to give out his email address so that if any listeners out there or people who view this recording have an interest in either how to get into the laundromat business or more importantly, want to talk about the pickup and delivery business with a very experienced operator, Fred is certainly that. So Fred, thanks for joining the Spin Room, and I guess we'll start a
Thank
little
you.
bit by you giving us a little bit background on yourself, your professional journey of how you got to where you are today.
Sure. My professional journey kind of begins in a small fintech startup where I played a big role in the sales and operations of that company. And I attribute that experience to be the experience that sparked my entrepreneurial bug or ambitions.
Hmm.
Um, I decided then to leave that company to start my first business with my brother. It was an import-export company in Florida. We specialized in the wholesale of construction materials and high-end outdoor patio furniture,
Hmm. Interesting.
which was a great experience, both um, with being able to work with international partners and local sales representatives and partners as well. I then got a different bug, which is I met a girl in Brazil, the country of origin, and moved down there and married her. Um, it just happens that she's an entrepreneur also. And at the time when we got married, she had a tire business, a tire store, and a motorcycle dealership. And we
Interesting.
worked very hard on both of those business for a long, long time. We eventually sold off the motorcycle dealerships, and she became a mom, and I assumed the business by myself and moved into tire distribution. Um, Grew that to a pretty sizable operation. Had awesome experiences doing that. And then, with most of us, COVID came and was a divider of waters. And after the pandemic, my wife and I decided to move back to the U.S. We have two teenage kids, and we thought that, we'd give them the experience of the United States and a little bit of a more stable place to live. When I got here, I kind of was looking for my next fix, my next business venture. I didn't have a job and knew that I didn't want to go into the market and the corporate. Was looking at many different opportunities and unexpectedly found my way into the laundry business, really just by dumb luck.
So you started outdoor furniture to tires to laundry. Does that
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
sum it up? That's great.
yep,
That's
that's it.
terrific.
That's
That's
it.
great.
Yeah.
So what attracted you to the laundromat industry? When you got here to Atlanta, what kind of got you going into the business?
Sure. I think the biggest thing was the resilience. I looked at laundry as a consistent demand for the
Hmm.
services.
Hmm.
Kind of like tires, you need tires when you need them, and
Right.
there's no way around them. So in that sense, it was consistent. I thought that the cash flow was very consistent. Most laundromats that I had looked at had low overheads.
Hmm.
And what really attracted me was the opportunity to implement my experiences and technologies to grow the businesses that I was looking to purchase.
Okay.
Also, I thought that it was an opportunity to get into an industry that had a huge potential upside on the pickup and delivery.
Okay. Okay, so when you actually got
Yeah,
into the business, you were actually looking forward to um, moving into the pickup and delivery space.
I did. Yeah.
Okay,
It was one
okay,
of the things that right off the bat I knew that I was going to implement in whatever laundry I bought.
okay. And do you have one store now?
I do. I have one
Okay,
store. It's I would say a medium-sized store.
okay,
I started a little bit smaller. Didn't know much about the industry, or actually
sure.
nothing about the industry when I started. So I wanted to make sure that it was some shoes that I could walk in and grow.
Hmm.
So it's about 3,000 square feet. The store has always done the self-service, obviously, and then the drop-off, um, wash and fold.
Right. Okay.
And when I got here, I added the pickup and delivery.
Okay. And do you expect to expand your do you want to grow your what I call traditional laundromat business? Do you want to get another location
Yeah.
or within the
So
next
right
year or two?
now, I'm actively looking for other opportunities, other
Okay.
stores. It's been a little bit more difficult
Yeah,
than
sure.
acquiring my first store.
Yep.
I don't know if I got lucky on the first purchase, or if now that I know more, I'm more cautious as to what I'm getting into. But yes, the idea is to grow here um, pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's much more of it's definitely a seller's market, at least up here in the Northeast, where
Yeah.
multiples are pretty high. So
Yes.
Um, so it's a tough time to find good value. Um, so we're going to shift a little bit, talk a little bit more about the Happy Nest. How did this begin? How did you hear about us? And do you even remember hearing
Sure.
about us? And
I did a lot of studying on the laundromat industry, and there's some publications out there, and I saw Happiness is one of the people offering pickup and delivery for laundromat owners. And
Mhm.
then right after I started my search on the laundromat industry, I had again got lucky, and by happenstance, the clean show was going to happen a few months later.
Okay.
So it was probably the first thing that I did once I got interested into the laundromat business was to sign up for the clean show. I went to the clean show. I still had not bought my laundromat,
Okay.
um, and met a bunch of people in the industry, including some of Happiness folks that were out there. I don't know if I had the opportunity to meet you that
Yeah,
day or
I
not,
was just
but
thinking that. I was just
I
thinking that.
certainly talked to a couple people at the Happiness booth,
Okay.
and I kept you guys in my Rolodex, let's say.
Sure. Very good. Very good. Um, and so when did you start with us?
I bought my laundromat in October of 22, and I started with you guys in November 1st of 22.
Okay. So right off the bat, you started right with us.
Yes, a month
Yeah,
later.
right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Terrific. And so when you were evaluating, what was the things that stood out to you? Why, obviously we're talking to you, so this relationship has been a good one for happiness and hopefully for you as well, Fred. And so what were the selling points, I guess, from your perspective, with happiness?
At the time, from my research, you guys were the leaders, or one of the leaders in the industry for the pickup and delivery. And uh, I don't know that I understood that much of what the relationship would become, but at the time, I thought it was going to be more of you do one part, and I pay for that service with a percentage of my pickups, and I just didn't understand how deep that relationship would become, or how important that of role it would play. So what drew me to Happiness, I think, is that you guys were the industry leaders in my eye at the time,
Right.
and I wanted to partner up who I thought was the best.
Right. So what do you think about the relationship now? How has this relationship morphed uh, well, frankly, between you and I think it's pretty good, but also between the teams, your team and our team.
John, look, and I think I've said this from day one with you. The important thing for me is the partnership, right?
Mhm.
We have the same clients at the end of the day, So I think it's a very symbiotic relationship
Hmm.
where both sides are working for the same common goal. So I don't see myself as a happy nest partner. I see myself as happy nest
Yeah.
and just an
Right.
extension of what
Right.
you guys do internally. How has the relationship been? I would say it couldn't be better. I think that the team at Happiness is second to none. I think that everybody understands and has the same ideals as I do as far as growth and market participation and client satisfaction. Um, so in that sense, I couldn't speak uh, something different than that. I just think it's been a great relationship for me.
Yeah. No, and that I echo the same going back the other way to you. And I think one of the things that we've been able to do, which wasn't our goal, but it's more of an output of working with talented operators, is we've really created a sense of community out there. You
Yeah,
see it,
absolutely.
you see it at the partner meetings, you see it up at the regional meetups that we do. Um, it really showed up in Nashville when you guys came and helped us with the booth and talking about the business. It was very
Mhm.
helpful from our perspective as well. So what are your plans? I know you have some very ambitious plans over the next 12 months, as do we with within
Mhm.
your marketplace, and we'll get to them. But kind of where you can share as much as you want, but where do you um, what are the KPIs that you're most proud of, or how when you look at the business, how do you look at the business and your success to date?
Continued growth.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have moments where you're not growing as quickly, or you're more stable on the growth, and then you tweak little here, you tweak a little there, and you find your stride
Mhm.
again. So the KPI that I most look at is growth. Am I continue to grow?
Right.
Um, Obviously, at the beginning, your time and your energy is being inputted is a lot more than the result that you're getting in a financial sense. It takes some times to develop the market, and although I say that with um, recognition that that was a lot quicker than any other venture that you're going to get into. The returns take a little bit, but they come and they come quickly. Um, so those are the KPIs that I look at, and the ones that are my guiding lights. The next 12 months, I think that my next step here is to go into a processing facility.
Hmm.
Um, I think that I understood, or at least for me, I understood from the get-go that the pickup and delivery is a business in itself.
Hmm.
Although it's of my laundromat right now, I process it out of my laundromat. I think that I've always looked at it as its own business. So as its own business, as it grows, it needs to be at its own facility.
Hmm.
I'm getting to the point where I don't have a conflict yet of my walk-in self-service client and my happiness, because I still have time within my day where I can run the happiness, but
Hmm.
I certainly don't want that to become a problem.
Sure.
So that's where I see, and I have some pretty lofty growth metrics that you guys are very aware of,
Sure.
and the team is on board. That's the cool thing, right?
Yeah.
I set out to hit the moon, and everybody said, okay, let's do it, and I do believe that we'll achieve them.
Yeah, no, it's great. We a lot of our partners now, some of the older partners, Fred is a I would say you're a mature partner. You've been on here through a couple of cycles of seasonality and so forth.
Mhm.
But our partners who are a little bit older than you, a lot of them are moving into processing facilities because the last thing we want to do as happiness is we don't want to cannibalize our
Sure.
partners, high margin walk-in business. And
Sure.
so as that business starts coming in, and now your drivers are getting back at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and they're no longer dropping off 15 or 20 bags, they're dropping off 60 or 70 bags.
Mhm.
That customer walks in at 5 p.m. to get their laundry done quickly. You want to be able to service them. So
Sure.
I think it's an evolution in the business that will continue. It's very similar to what happened with DoorDash and some of these food service companies like Panera Bread has moved into ghost kitchens. We kind of look at it as a ghost
Mhm.
laundromat, um, and so I think it's a very natural evolution for the business.
And I think that anybody that's looking to get into the business and really making a business out of it, they need to look at it as that this is a standalone business. You might get started out of your
Yeah,
laundromats, but if you really truly wish growth, that eventually it's going to grow out of your laundromat, and you need to be
yeah, I
prepared for
think you're
that.
right. I think you're right. I mean, when we started up here, we got to about we had a very big laundromat, but I guess we got to about 10 or 12 grand a week in revenue, and we were
Hmm.
pushing the envelope, and we that's when we moved into a standalone facility.
Hmm.
And it was better for the employees, better for the staff, you know.
Sure.
It's it wasn't you didn't have customers walking up asking you how to use how to turn on a dryer or how to turn on a washer and so forth. So it's been good. So we know what your plans are for the next 12 months. And I better get off this podcast soon or this Zoom soon so we can go ahead and meet them. But what other questions do you have, or what other comments would you want to share with potential happiness partners?
I think the only thing that I would say is to have the partnership mindset.
Yep.
Like I said earlier, it's a symbiotic relationship. Both sides are fighting for the same thing at the end of the day. We at this end here, we're providing, great quality service, and you guys do the back end of that part for us. So I think that is the most important, the partnership mindset, to approach every problem that may occur with that mindset. You how do we
Yeah.
solve this together and not try to, you know, finger point of who did what and when and where.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, from our perspective, it's all about relationships, right? It's
Yep.
all about playing a long game, recognizing that neither side is perfect. Um, and when we look at, it's interesting when people, some of our recruiters here say, "John, what's the ideal partner?" It really comes down to good people first, good operators second. And a good operator doesn't mean you're in the industry for 30 years. You can just get in the industry if you're a good business person.
Yep.
We can teach you the rest.
Yep.
So good operators. And then from a partner's perspective, whatever we do, it has to work for the customer, the end user. Secondly, it has to work for the partner. And then it has to work for happiness. This is kind of way how we look at things. Um, so it's not a model for everyone, and we know that, but we're having a lot of fun, and we welcome other people to reach out and talk to us about the model, and reach out to Fred. I don't know, Fred, if you're comfortable, if you want to give out your email
Yeah,
address,
absolutely. Yeah.
it would be great.
F as in Frank, V as in Victor, P as in Peter, ANOSSO at gmail.com. So it's FVPanoso at gmail.com.
Terrific. Well, thanks a lot, Fred. We appreciate you taking the time today. And if
Thank
you
you.
have, let me get back to work here and hit those
Yep.
off the 2025
We got to
goals.
hit those numbers.
That's
Yep.
right. All right. Well, thanks for your time.
Thanks, John.
All right. Bye-bye.